In the previous video, we talked about multiple ideas on how to fix up ASA even more, making it far different from ASE. If you missed the previous video, here's what we covered. More trophies and decorations, Mosschop's direwolf and griffin saddles with Ragnarok around the corner coming out very soon, why the heck not? More items from S+, more player combat and movement, additional passive creatures in swamps and oceans, nests for flyers, why that's not in the game already, I have no idea. Honorable mentions of more musical tracks from ASC by Gareth Choker, a tech armor buff, an agricultural pass, and more early game tools. Y'all really enjoyed the previous video and so did the Depths Court. A few of their members asked me to make a part 2, so here we are. Here are even more ideas for ASA. Starting off the list with a Lance TLC. This one comes from the Depths Court, and a couple of people mentioned this as an idea. So the lance is literally useless in ASE, and it still is in ASA. With the last video and a sword, I've used a lance before, and it's not that hard to use at all. It's actually a fun tool. I would also suggest the lance be changed from a poke the other rider's weapon to a staff weapon that is often used in fantasy media. This would coincide with the TLC pass of the early game weapons from the last video and the new animations for swings. In fact, the lance would probably go in the same TLC pass. However, if for whatever reason Wildcard can't change the weapon to the spear, just make it a usable off amount and add a move like Lawbringer from For Honor's Impale attack. I'll have that on screen for you. It would give the lance much more use and actually be fun to use. Up next, we have a Carcha taming adjustments. Now, this one's a personal thing, but I'll say it. I do not like the Carcha taming. It's a buggy mess on both PvE and PvP. If the Carcha's AI was adjusted to eat corpses more often, it would be nice. Like, honestly, the Carcha is a much more fun creature than the Giga, not the Evo Giga. That thing is great. The vanilla one. However, what stops me from even making Let's Play videos on it, when I was doing those anyways, is the taming method is what stops me every time. Now, I will bring up the Evo Rex as a prime example of how to do the Carcha taming correctly. Now, with the Evo Rex, if you haven't tamed one before, it is literally very similar to the Carcha method, in which you offer it food. And, if it takes it, then the trust meter will increase. And you can also pet it, give it meat or meat of any kind, whether it's mutton, prime meat, prime fish, regular fish, raw meat, etc. It's any of those types of meats. And then you can also just straight up pet it. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I'm mentioning it here. You can just pet it. There's a few interactions there, and you're actually directly in direct contact with the Carcha, or not, with the Evo Rex the entire time. So you can actually make Carcha taming a whole lot easier if you follow that method. Now, here's the deal. Recently, there was a change made to the Evo Rex where creatures bigger as big or bigger than it will now lower the damage. Will actually ruin the taming effectiveness. So, with that being said, same thing with the Carcha. If you end up attacking another Carcha for some reason, or somehow end up attacking another Carcha, then bigger creatures, bigger or smaller, or actually just bigger, would affect the effectiveness. Goodness, I couldn't speak there. And then smaller creatures, even the ones that attack you, don't really do anything. That would be a nice change. And I think somebody could probably make this an individual mod, like easy Carcha taming or something, because I know someone made a mod that makes the Reneagnatha just more reasonable and ask for stuff that would actually make sense. It would probably be something like that, if not outright added to the game. Someone could probably make this into a mod and just use the similar coding to the Evo Rex to just make the Carcha a whole lot easier. I think that would be really good. If you guys have any other further ideas on how to fix the Carcha taming method, let me know, because it's always been a buggy mess for me, and I ended up just honestly raging and just giving up and going for a different Carcha eventually. But yeah, that is it for the Carcha taming adjustments. Up next, we have a Wyvern TLC. This one is actually pretty cut and dry. The fire, poison, and lightning wyverns all need a serious TLC. Much like the goal of the Paleo Arc Evolution mod by Up from the Depths and Paleo Team, I actually have a small team myself that has already made a really good lightning wyvern. I'll have it on screen. That has made it look much better overall. The goal of this TLC was to make the wyvern stand out from the other two by having a longer neck and tail. The other two are still very early works in progress, but here's the poison wyvern so far. I don't recall if we have the design for the fire wyvern, but if we do, it'll pop up right now. There's a mod out there right now by the name of Tristan's Wyvern Tweaks. This adds, I can't talk right now, excuse me. This adds some much needed function to the existing 3 wyverns that aims to fix a lot of the problems with the vanilla wyverns have. I'm so sorry, I can't talk right now. This is not a reading day for me. Currently, it adds griffin-like flight to the big 3 and will later, I think, add much needed breath changes for each, including armored saddles for each of them. I have an idea. Wait, did I put a typo in this thing? I have an idea if Tristan will make new models as well. He will, but that would also be really cool. Something like this for the base game would be great, and it would give the wyverns much more life in the best way possible. I think a TLC for the wyverns, if a TLC for the wyverns was to take place, both PvE and PvP camps would be happy with it. Now, actually, speaking of models, this is recent. I wrote this script like quite a while back, but currently there is a work in progress model for the fire wyvern. Speaking of which, I'll put it on screen for you guys if I can find it. And it looks really, really good. It looks better than the vanilla one by far. I mean, look at those wings. Goodness. But yeah, it does look like the individual 3 wyverns will be getting brand new models, which is good. I haven't seen anything on the other 2. So with that being said, you know, this is literally the plot plan for those guys, and it's really, really cool. And of course, I'll have Tristan's Wyvern Tweaks in the description below, so you can actually check out that mod for yourself. It is really, really good. And yeah, if I were to do a part 2 of the quality of life mods, that would definitely be on the list. Because goodness. But anyways, that is all for that section there. Let us move on to the next one. Up next, we have the different update pools for PvP and PvE. I have actually been banging this drum for a long time. PvP players are completely different from PvE players. That much is certain from the get-go. PvP players have also ruined, somewhat, a lot of the creatures that would be great for PvE. Look at the man of armor. This is just one example of how spiteful the PvP community is, though at times they are right to be this way. I mean, look at what happened with the Island Boys and how many members they lost because of favoritism. I'm not going to get into that, though. Bigger content creators than I have already talked about that and how unfair it was. I am in the camp that disagrees with this outcome despite being a PvE player myself, though I still say that the update pools being different for both gameplay should be different for both gameplay types. As a PvE player, I would like to be able the option to be able to enable or disable creature nerfs if we wanted to do so. That being baked in on official is fine, but this should be something that absolutely should be optional for unofficial servers or even single player. Speaking of unofficial servers, more control with unofficial servers. Once again, this is a personal thing, but I would like to have 100% control of what goes on with official servers. Being able to manage every aspect of it by default would be great. I mean every aspect, including how often mutations come out, individual creature hatch times, the whole 9 yards. There will more than likely be mods to add this type of functionality, and I know the Super Cryo Storage mod has this as a thing that you can do. But like before, this is something that this is something that one could do just by default, that would be very good. Oh my gosh, I cannot read today. I'm sorry. People who spend money renting servers should have more say in what goes on with said servers to begin with, especially with how expensive Nitrado servers are. Throw us a bone, would you? I mean, come on. This wouldn't even be very hard, would it? Heck, I'm pretty sure mod devs could make that happen with relative ease, given how creative most of them are. And yeah, just come on. Come on. It shouldn't be that difficult. At least I don't think so. Up next, we have world bosses. This one is pretty clear. Now, a little bit of history for you. In Ark Survival Evolved, the Titans of Extinction were meant to be bosses that just exist in the world, and you can approach and fight it if you decide to do so. With Extinction dropping in a couple months, next month, this would be a good chance to introduce that concept here and also have world bosses that spawn on other maps. I have no idea what other creatures that could be for each map, but it could be cool. In fact, I have a mod in the early stages of development right now that could provide said world bosses. A creature of the skies, the deep oceans, the snowy tundras, and deep forests. If y'all want to see these creatures, let me know about down below. An honest question, what ideas do you have for a world boss? Let me know in the comment section below. But this is something that I very much agree with. And plus, again, Extinction comes out next month. I'm recording this right now on the 30th of November. So yeah, no, this could be really good, honestly. Like, Extinction is right there. And you know, with ASA having a lot more controls and just freedoms to be able to add things and whatnot, especially with mods, you could literally have just the 3 Extinction Titans just roaming their domain and like being an actual threat that you have to actively avoid, even when especially when taming, you know, creatures and whatnot in the 3 domes. Well, 2 domes and the forest underneath, and like they can like stay in the same general arena spots, I suppose. And then like maybe they aggro if they get too close. I don't know. I can spitball an entire video on how to make that interesting. But yeah, just world bosses. Let me know in the comment section below if you want to see the ones that I have been cooking for quite some time now. Okay, up next is an exploration update. Now, this one is a bit of a collab, so we're going to be here for a second. And this might actually be the last one. This will actually be the last one for the video. But exploration update. My man Helios the Prince and additional ideas from King Riley coming in with another big expansion idea. This time, exploration rather than gardening. This pass adds better movement for climbing, scaling, etc. Backpacks that could hold things separate from the player inventory, although this could overshadow shoulder pads, there could be just something different with it, like what was mentioned, as well as attachments or decorations for said backpacks specifically. More lights, lamps, and flashlights, and even a bonfire that runs the risk of getting the attention of unwanted critters. By that, I mean more exclusively nocturnal critters would be cool too. Tools like a Swiss Army knife and even bigger tents, like the really big ones like this. Traveling attachments for tames and other carts for those that do not have Bob's Tall Tales. Additional crafted foods like energy bars. Of course, with all this camping stuff, you got to have s'mores. Like, come on. Additionally, small rocks and logs for players to sit on for the authentic experience. These could be like chair or bench skins if you really wanted to. Ambient creatures like fireflies, foxes, and raccoons. A fishing update, like with more baits such as worms, tackle box, lures, floats, sinkers, and more boats. Lifesavers. I don't know what that's supposed to mean there. A fishing rod upgrades, an upgraded fishing mechanic, more ambient fish, and insects, more berry types and bushes, and even hiking gear like ropes. Now that was, I don't know all the fishing accoutrement whatnot, so I don't even know what half of the stuff means. But if you fished before, then you know what that is. All that stuff. Now for what Mr. King Riley suggested, as well as a few others. of which I will specify when needed. Now, upgraded sleeping bags. This is actually a really good one. A more fabricated sleeping bag that can be easily picked up and placed on the go, where you can regain health inside the sleeping bag itself. This idea comes from solid steel. A fox. Now this is just a new creature that would come in with the update. So check this out. We have a fox. For the fox, it'll be a small dilo tier tame, goodness, where it can dig up stuff, possibly act as a shovel. This idea comes from ACQ. An early alert system when on your shoulder. Oh, I think that's meant to be attached to the fox thing. Okay, so then 3 new fishing types. Okay, we have the regular fishing, in which the regular fishing rod is used to fish up things like sturgeons, arapaima, and gars. Net fishing, which uses the net to catch things like snapping turtles. And finally, hand fishing, to catch fish like catfish with your bare hands. And then also raccoons. Raccoons could also, in addition to being helpful with player crafting, raccoons could also be used as little thieves, unlocking locked storage boxes, and maybe, or have something to do with chitin, considering they hunt crayfish. This idea comes from Pink Sam. And speaking of that, add crayfish, which act as an equivalent to mutton for, say, I don't know, ocean creatures and whatnot. And matter of fact, how about also, speaking of alarms and whatnot, a rattlesnake that can be used as an organic alarm and trap system. A cougar, which is an additional creature that will come in with this update, that can climb and scare pests like pegos and microraptors. So like an early game Tyrannus, specifically for scaring off those little pesky creatures on the beaches. And man, that was a mouthful. Good Lord. But all right, I believe that's it for this video. So let's go ahead and close this boy out, shall we? I do believe that's it for this video. These are just some ideas I had to further separate ASA from ASE, including the ideas from others. If you missed the first part, check it out. If you did enjoy this video, leave a like and a comment down below on what ideas you have to add things to ASA. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.